Have you ever wondered what it feels like to be treated unfairly just because of your skin color? It was a Friday evening at Belle Vista, one of the finest restaurants in New York City. The air was filled with a rich aroma of steak, garlic butter, and freshly baked bread. Soft jazz played in the background, adding to the restaurant's elegant atmosphere. The waitstaff moved with precision, attending to every guest with professionalism and grace. Among them was Marcus, a 28-year-old black waiter who had been working at Belle Vista for 3 years. He was known for his warm smile and excellent service. No matter how rude a customer was, Marcus always remained calm. But tonight, his patience was about to be tested. The doors swung open, and in walked the Monroes, a wealthy white family known for their arrogance. Jonathan Monroe, the father, was a powerful businessman. His wife, Victoria, was a former beauty queen, and their daughter, Claire, had been raised with a silver spoon in her mouth. They were used to getting whatever they wanted, whenever they wanted. As they approached their reserved table, Marcus stepped forward with a polite smile. "Good evening. Welcome to Belle Vista. My name is Marcus, and I'll be your server tonight. May I start you off with some drinks?" Jonathan Monroe scoffed. "Great. Just what I needed, a black waiter." Victoria smirked while Claire giggled. "Hopefully you can keep up." "We don't have time for mistakes," she added, waving her hand dismissively. Marcus kept his composure. He had dealt with customers like this before, but something about the Monroes felt different. There was a sharpness in their words, a cruelty that lingered. He nodded. "Of course, sir. What can I get for you?" Jonathan smirked. "How about you start by not dropping anything? Black folks tend to be clumsy, right?" Claire burst out laughing. "Yeah, and make sure you don't spit in our food." Marcus's jaw tightened, but he forced himself to remain professional. He jotted down their drink orders and walked away, his heart pounding. He had dealt with racism before, but tonight felt different. Little did the Monroes know, their night was about to take a turn they never saw coming. When Marcus returned with their drinks, the Monroes continued their mockery. "Wow, he actually remembered," Victoria said sarcastically. "I half expected him to mix up our orders." Marcus placed each drink down carefully. "Would you like to hear tonight's specials?" Claire rolled her eyes. "As if you'd even understand what you're saying. Do you even know fine dining, or do you just serve burgers when you're not here?" Jonathan snapped his fingers at Marcus. "Yeah, boy, read them out quickly. We don't have all night." The word boy stung, but Marcus held his ground. He listed the specials with perfect pronunciation, his voice steady. Jonathan Monroe narrowed his eyes, clearly annoyed that Marcus remained unfazed. "We'll take the lobster and fettuccine Alfredo," Jonathan said, "and make sure it's cooked properly. If you mess it up, I'll have you fired." Marcus nodded and walked toward the kitchen. As he placed their order, the head chef, Carlos, noticed his tense expression. "Everything okay, Marcus?" Carlos asked. Marcus forced a smile. "Just the usual." Carlos frowned. "Hang in there. Karma has a way of handling people like them." Little did they know, karma was already on its way. The Monroes continued their insults, mocking Marcus at every chance they got. But just as their meals arrived, the atmosphere in the restaurant shifted. A tall, well-dressed man entered Belle Vista, his presence commanding attention. The manager, Mr. Levine, rushed forward to greet him. "Good evening, Mr. Davidson. What a pleasure to have you here." Jonathan Monroe suddenly froze, his face turning pale. Mr. Davidson, the billionaire CEO of Davidson Enterprises, walked past him without a glance and headed straight for Marcus. "Marcus, good to see you, man. How's your mother?" Mr. Davidson asked warmly. Marcus smiled for the first time that night. "She's doing great, sir. Thanks for asking." Jonathan's mouth fell open. "Wait, you know him?" Mr. Davidson turned to face the Monroes. "Know him? Marcus's mother practically raised me when my parents were always away on business. I owe her everything. And Marcus? He's like family. Silence fell over the table. The Monroes looked like they had swallowed something bitter. Mr. Davidson glanced at Marcus. Have they been treating you with respect? Before Marcus could answer, Mr. Levine spoke up. Actually, sir, they have been nothing but rude to him. Mr. Davidson turned to Jonathan with a cold stare. So, you think you're better than Marcus? You should be ashamed. You built your little wealth, but I built an empire. And guess what? I don't do business with racists. Jonathan stammered. Mr. Davidson, Save it, Mr. Davidson interrupted. Effective immediately, I'm cutting all ties with you. Your company was seeking my investment, right? Well, consider it gone. Jonathan's face turned red. Victoria gasped. Claire sat frozen as the reality sank in. Jonathan panicked. Please, sir, let's talk about this. Mr. Davidson smirked. No need. I already made my decision. And by the way, I own Bella Vista. Marcus here isn't just some waiter. He's an employee in my restaurant. Jonathan's eyes widened in horror. Mr. Levine stepped forward. And since I run this place, let me make this clear. We don't tolerate racism here. You're no longer welcome. The entire restaurant had gone silent, watching the Monroes squirm in embarrassment. Murmurs filled the air, and some guests even clapped. With no choice but to leave, Jonathan threw his napkin down. This is ridiculous, he spat, storming out, his family trailing behind. As the doors shut behind them, Mr. Davidson patted Marcus on the shoulder. Keep being you, Marcus. People like them always get what they deserve. Marcus smiled, relief washing over him. For once, instant justice had been served. And the Monroes? They left with empty stomachs and shattered egos.